Hello and welcome to my April CEO memo. Today I am recording this from the boardroom at our office. This is Albany behind me, Unsworth Heights area, if you know Auckland. It's been a stunning last 10 days, really, and I think we've got a couple more up our sleeves. Yeah, that nice crisp autumn air out there, which is somewhat what's going on in the economy as well, but we'll get to that. Before I do, I'll just say I'm wearing my North Harbour Rugby referees polo. It was on Monday night during winter, is when we have our meetings. I've been on the Devlin Sports Podcast Network segment about refereeing rugby. So Jeff the ref, it's been working quite well actually for our overall marketing and clicking into what you're doing. You'll also hear I've got a bit of a cold, which is the harbinger of winter. I'm off to Manila in 2 weeks to see our Manila-based team. So it's always a good thing to do. And then in the last week of May, we have our shareholder, staff, and board annual dinner. So that's really cool because right after that is when I go on my sabbatical. But if we look at what happened in the month for just general detail, we had another really strong month. We are seeing really difficult conditions out there, seeing interest rate rises in Australia. That's signaled to happen in New Zealand. We've got inflation in Australia running really high, and I'd expect that it's going to come out the same in New Zealand when we get to it with petrol prices and the like at the pump. So, those confidence conditions are not looking too good. And when I talk about the metrics at the end of this, you'll see that there has been a clawback in the retail sale market, although we have some up and down kind of information going on within the services sector. So, yeah, knuckling down and getting onto it, which is why I'm going to talk about AI today, or all the financing and the underlying sort of risks of AI, because for most people using AI in the workforce, they're using a chat GPT or a Copilot type product. The cost isn't that great. I can tell you that the cost for Web Wonks for testing in the last 2 months, it's actually probably more like 6 weeks, has been $25,000 with no noticeable return to me. So that's 2 months of subscription for the Looker platform. But significantly, I've spent over $4,000 in cloud costs, which were never told to me were going to be a part of where things were needing to be, or the AI sort of overarching product. I was very clear to ask Google, okay, I've got a platform cost, I've got a implementation cost. What are those long tail costs? Oh, no, 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 they won't be there. Well, yes, 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 they are. And we can't get them under control. So I had another conversation with the team that is implementing this for us last Friday, because what we have with this new product, and just as a segue for a moment, if you are using your now Data Studio dashboard that we created for you, you'll know that it's now called Data Studio. Now, Back to the Future in about 2022, it used to be called Data Studio. Then they called it Looker Studio because they were going to integrate more of this Looker AI product. All confusing, I understand. So now we're back to Data Studio dashboards. Great that you have one of those already. The Looker Studio, the AI piece, is what we've developed out, and we have something called conversational analytics. Now, that is all of your data set. We can type in prompts that's specific to your data that allows us to see information and to improve what is going on. So questions like, how do I fix my cart abandonment? Or show me my lowest performing ad campaign and tell me what to do with it. Things like that it can tell you at, a split second. And the key thing about this is you want to work with your project manager on this, because not everything that Google gives you or the AI gives you is correct. We've talked about hallucinations in the past. However, being able to use this platform delivers rapid insights and provides more time in the working month for our team to work on your account. So this is great, and it works, and it's fantastic. Problem is, when I logged in last time to use it, it cost me $600. And on Thursday of last week, when we checked it, we asked 3 questions, and that cost 60. Now, that is not a viable long-term cost for our business. It's certainly not one that we can pass on to our clients. In fact, we're absorbing all the costs. If you've done server-side tagging with us, which is about 25% of our clients, then you will be able to upgrade for a very minimal fee. And the minimal fee is the cloud costs. Because if we're giving you the advancements and it's your account, we can't absorb those costs. Now, we want them down to a manageable number, but they're not sustainable where they are at the moment. So, talking about those looker costs, there's cloud costs, and then there's platform costs, there's cloud costs, there's compute costs. So they're there. On the other side of the AI equation is the internal productivity gains that we are getting. At a later date and time, I'm going to do a animated video to explain this because it is quite confusing when we start talking about ADKs into MCPs connected to APIs, using AIs, using root agents and sub-agents through the semantic layer, all these sorts of different things that can be described. It can be difficult to understand when you're just trying to make a buck in your business, right? So let's condense it down to easy to digest and implementable solutions. So what we have been doing, it's been a long time, we've innovated from day dot, really seeing the acceleration over the last couple of months by using an MCP, a model context protocol, to connect to the Google Ads through the API. We can use the ADK to build prompts and tell it to do work. Now, you don't have to understand all that to understand this. A labor unit hour that we were paying previously is now down to less than $1, right? So sometimes that work was being done by New Zealand-based staff, and sometimes that was being done by our Manila-based staff. Doesn't matter because now it's being done by a computer and it's costing less than $1. That is good, right? Yay for AI. Be careful though, because a lot of these platforms are being subsidized. And so we invest in these platforms. And then we see, okay, year one, it's this. And then year two, it's that. And then year three, it's that. And then year four, all of a sudden, now we're paying more than what the staff member cost, right? And the staff member, though they will want to be paid more each year, if times are not great, we all sort of sit in that together. These big tech platforms, are they going to do that for us? Don't know. So these are the things that I think need to be discussed. As much as the awesome part of AI is there, the potential for AI is there, we have implemented solutions that we are using this month, last month, and in perpetuity from this point forward that will save our business significant sums of money. Tens, if not hundreds, probably hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And this program of work is only just beginning. But on the other hand, I want to be able to release a product to you, to the wider market, but I can't because it's getting caught in this fishhook. And worst yet with the cloud, before I move on to talking about hacking, uh, is that you can't set a top level for the cloud charge. So if you set it at $1,000, if it hits $1,000, stop doing it. You can only get alerts when it's gone over. So what if you get an alert for a $40,000 day? Wouldn't you have wanted to have instead put in a request that if it gets over $1,000, it stops, like a budget, like you do in ads? Anyway, look, got to get through a bunch of stuff, and you don't want to hear me drone on forever. So, talk about hacking for a minute. I've never seen this before. We had a client in April who was hacked, and they commandeered the Google Ad account and they added two campaigns and set it at a budget of $2,000 a day, so a total of $4,000, and then proceeded to spend about $1,200 before Google stopped it. This was new, and we went and checked every single one of our accounts to see. We have multi-factor authentication security to get into your accounts to start with, but then we went and checked all of the accounts to ensure that the security was indeed intact, that no one had accessed it outside of who we would have expected to access it, and that there were no new backup codes or passphrases that had been added, and we didn't find anything. So Google is in the process. They immediately shut it down. They completely removed those campaigns, and we've had to put in a request to get the money refunded, which I'm led to believe will happen in the next day or two. But today we found out on Friday the 1st, that there was another client of ours that was hacked, which was not through our proxy, it was actually through the ad account. Now, what this suggests to me is that there is an exploit within the Google Ad platform. Google may or may not come out and publicly say something about it. I don't know. But again, I think this time today was $12,000 price. After $1,000, it was cancelled, and all the campaigns were cancelled because they know it's fraud. Google has identified that it's fraud. There's no question about that. And so there should be a refund, but it's a pain in the ass. The account gets suspended for a couple of days until we get it resolved. But really, it's what's happening. Why is it taking place in the first instance, right? Like, what can be done to resolve that? And to that end, I don't know. I'm just flagging that as something that's going on in the industry. Then we've got YouTube for AI. This one's kind of cool because obviously this is a YouTube video that's going to go up. We put a lot of our radio ads, we turn into animated ads up into obviously YouTube, into ads, and onto X, periodically into social. And so I will show you what we've been doing recently. I was talking to Trevor, one of our project managers. Are you going to let me share? This is a $1 million question. Oh no, it may not let me do it. Let's see. No, no, I'm not going to quit this video, which is really, really frustrating. I will put it into the email that I get sent out, but you can go to our YouTube channel. So you will be watching this on YouTube. So go click on our brand or our logo and go to our channel. And what you'll see if you click on videos, which is on the right next to the home icon tab, is our new way of adding thumbnails to our YouTube videos. And you'll notice the older videos, which was just a screen cap of me or whomever took the video. Now, what we're doing is using Canva to create a more dynamic thumbnail to catch the eye. We're updating our titles. We are putting more content in the description. We're adding chapters, and we are just doing a number of other little things in the background that are going to assist with the ranking of the videos. But really importantly, it's a big, like a really big AI organic ranking factor. So if you want to rank better for AI, then definitely go back on your historic YouTube videos. And if you're not creating YouTube videos, consider creating one like this. You'll note that if you're seeing this video in our email, you'll see the walkthroughs. And if you are not seeing it, you can go to our YouTube channel and see the walkthroughs there, where we have in any given month 4 or 5 videos that our managers put forward. And so we are, for all of them moving forward, putting them in with the new structure to assist with AI, and then we'll retrospectively go back. So definitely a suggestion that you guys should be working on too. And then we have, I don't quite know what this means. Oh, that's like over what? Over reporting. So quite a number of clients since the beginning of the year had noticed that there had been a decline in organic traffic, and that was specifically through Search Console. Google has come out and said that they were over reporting the numbers, and that what we suspect has happened now is that what we were seeing in those declines at the beginning of the year was them beginning to show the correct number. So they over-reported in 2025, and then they started bringing that down at the beginning of 2026. They didn't bother to tell anyone that. The cynic in me might suggest that they are losing market share, and so if they say that they were over-reporting their market share, that might then mean that the loss to the AI platforms isn't as pronounced. Now, that's just me. It's just a hypothetical, might not be true at all. But it's something that you might like to consider, because I am one of the reasons why I've always said have your own data, and why using server-side tagging and storing your information in the cloud, because Google Ads came out today and said that they're changing their granular reporting. They're not going to let you keep it anymore unless you put it into your cloud account, that you don't actually own what's going on out there. And so you know what's actually happening with these tech platforms, which is why you should always own what your business is about, the data, and what have you. So that's me. I don't actually know have a timer, so I don't know how long this has gone on for. I'll finish up with the metrics. We see that there was about a 12% decline. I think Raj will have the metrics in the email, in retail ad spend month on month. I can actually look at that for you. So what we see is that we dropped back to about 4.2 million. Users were up massively. I don't know how that is the case. That was interesting. So it was up 132%, which something doesn't strike me as correct there, because normally we see a pretty consistent number of users, and we didn't pick up a client that would have that kind of yeah, traffic. Why, again, I'm saying, there's a lot of issues for our larger clients with spam and us filtering out those bots. But in terms of the service sector, we saw that there was, give me a moment. Oh, I'm not going to be able to find this one easily. I minimized everything. So when I shared my screen, it was going to not have all of my stuff open. Here we go. Here we go. Form submits were 12,500, down 9.2%. Email link clicks were 847, down 21%. But phone link clicks, which is the largest number, was almost 19,000, and that was up 12%. So that certainly outpaces by some number both the form and email link clicks. So different industries, different markets doing different things. There's still a lot of activity out there. It's obviously more constrained. And depending on the industry type, winter can slow down or accelerate. For us, for example, winter is actually our busiest time of the year. It's through the well, up till December through to the end of February is our quietest time. March can also be touch and go. But from here on out, we really start to lift. Whereas obviously businesses that are in the trades that are outdoors aren't able to operate as freely as they might like to. And so they go into their hibernation type time. So it just depends on what's going on for your business. What I'll always recommend and what I have been trying to do in my series this year is to talk to you about what you can do, especially in the world of AI, to grow your business, both from a productivity point of view, but also a product development point of view. And then, as I did today, warn about those costs. It's not all rainbows and sunshine. There are things that I just, 25 grand, that's a lot of money. And for no return, that's the killer. And those, I've said this in the past, 95%, this is information from last year, but 95% of AI implementations don't work. So I'm hearing and seeing a lot of people out there say how amazing things are, and that is true, but you got to take a lot of it with a pinch of salt. On that note, I do apologize that for some reason, yet again, my share screen didn't work, and that hopefully my nasally colds wasn't too bad. I will be doing this final CEO memo in May, although it is May the 4th today. Hey, the 4th be with you. That's not the one. Anyway, I'm not sure what I'm going to do while I'm on sabbatical, if I will record these videos or not, because I obviously won't be as plugged into what's going on, although we'll do some AI study during my time off. Nevertheless, have a wonderful May, and I will see you for the next installment of The Crazy World of AI. Bye.